Hey guys, today we're talking about slope-intercept form, Unit 3, Day 3. The objective is that you can convert between slope-intercept form and standard form. Linear equations are equations that describe straight lines on a graph. There are three common forms that you will see to describe straight lines: slope-intercept, standard, and point-slope form. All forms include an x and a y representing the x and y values that you would plot on a graph. Slope-intercept form is the first form and perhaps the most common form that we will see. You will recognize this as y equals mx plus b, where the letter m represents the slope and b represents your y-intercept. So if you have an equation y equals 3x plus 2, the number 3, the number in front of your x value, represents the slope. So we can tell that the slope is 3 because through those 2 points on our line, it goes up 3 units and it goes to the right 1. So 3 over 1 makes a slope of 3. You'll also see that it crosses our y-axis at the point 0, 2, which makes our y-intercept 2. The standard form of a linear equation is ax plus by equals c, where a, b, and c are all numbers, constants, and a is a positive number. So here we see 7x minus 2y equals 14, where a is equal to 7, b is equal to negative 2, and c is equal to 14. The third form that you'll see is called point-slope form. And that is where y minus y1 equals m parentheses x minus x1. Now here, y1 and x1 represents a known point, and y and x without those numbers are the same x's and y's that you guys saw in standard and slope-intercept form. And then similarly, that m represents your slope. Now our first teacher example asks you to convert the equation from standard form to slope-intercept form, then identify the slope and y-intercept of the equation. When we're converting from standard to slope-intercept form, we need to isolate y because we know y equals mx plus b is our slope-intercept form. So in order to isolate y, we need to undo and get rid of our 3x. The inverse of a positive 3x is negative 3x. So we're just going to subtract 3x to both sides. We end up with negative 6y equals negative 3x minus 12. Now we still need to completely isolate y. So to do the inverse, we're going to divide by negative 6, divide by negative 6, and divide by negative 6. Which leaves us with y equals a negative divided by negative is a positive, 3 over 6x, and then again, a negative divided by negative is a positive, so you get a positive 12 over 6. Y equals 1/2 x plus 2 when we simplify those fractions. Now we know our m represents our slope, and our b represents our y-intercept. So here, m is equal to 1/2, the number in front of x, and our b is 2. Take some time to try the student example number 1 on your own. The second teacher example asks you to convert the equation from point-slope form to slope-intercept form, and then to identify the slope and y-intercept of the equation. So again, here we're trying to convert it into y equals mx plus b form, where y is completely isolated. But here we have these parentheses that we really need to get rid of first. So the first thing that we're going to do is to distribute our 3 so that we have 3x and then minus 21. And then y minus 2 comes right down. Now, in order to completely isolate y, we just need to do the inverse of that minus 2. So we're going to add 2 to both sides. We get y equals 3x minus 19. Now we know that m is our slope, and B is our y-intercept. So here, M is going to equal 3, and B will be negative 19. And that's our final answer. Take some time and try your student example number 2. The last teacher example asks you to provide an equation in slope-intercept form when you're given a point and a slope. So, like you might see given this information, we have an equation called point-slope form. Y minus y1 equals m parentheses x minus x1. Here, this is going to be x1, y1, and then m equals 3. So we can all just plug those numbers right in. Y minus a negative 2 equals 3x minus 5. From here, we know that minus a negative is the same as a plus, so y plus 5 equals 3x minus 5. And then it's just like the example we did in number 2, where we distribute our 3. So y plus 5 equals 3x minus 15. And then we need to undo that 5, so we're going to subtract 5 from both sides. Y equals 3x minus 20. Now we have our equation in slope-intercept form, where we know the m represents the slope and the b represents our y-intercept. The last student example, give it a try on your own, please. And then write one sentence that describes the main ideas and one question that you have.